over here I'm seeing a much darker edge than I'm seeing anywhere else. And actually, what in the world? I've never found anything like that. It looks really similar to a Canadian penny, but it is not. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Quin Coins, your home for treasure hunting of all kinds. So today's video is going to be a little bit different than what you're used to seeing on this channel. Typically we look through American coins. Today we're actually going to be looking at some Canadian coins, and that is a big deal. Here's why. So a lot of people don't know this, but actually in 2012, Canada ceased production of the penny completely in their country. The major reason behind this decision was because it was costing the country more to make each penny than they were actually worth. So what this means is that if you go to Canada right now and attempt to get pennies at a bank or a store or anywhere else, it is virtually impossible, which means the only way to actually get rolls of these Canadian pennies is to either go online to buy them, or if you're me, get them sent in to you by a fan. This right here is a very dense package that was sent to me by a fan up in Vancouver, and the reason it's so dense is because it contains 6 rolls of Canadian pennies. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and open this baby up and see what we got. Alright, so about 1 pound of tape and a whole lot of struggling later, we were finally able to get the thing to open. So let's go ahead and open it up and take a first look at what we have inside this package. Alright, look at that, guys. So he actually included a $1 Canadian bill, which by the way, they don't make these anymore either. I actually don't know when they stopped making these, but it was definitely not recently. Alright, so now to get into the bulk of this package, guys. We peel back this bubble wrap, and as you can see, we have 6 Canadian penny rolls right there in front of our eyes. These are all fresh from the bank except for this pink one right here. He said that he put this roll together especially for me, and it looks like it's gonna have all kinds of cool stuff. You can see all kinds of shiny coins on that left side, and then it looks like we might have some older ones on the end there. I'm interested in this one right here. I don't know why, but my eye was completely drawn to this one. What in the world is this wrapping, guys? Look at that, so fancy. It says 1 cent in this weird plastic wrapper here. It looks like it has like a Lego bricks or something on the top of it there. Let's see what we have if we open this one up, if we're gonna get anything interesting on the ends. Okay, so a little bit older there, guys. You can see that's a 1978 on that one, so that's definitely a cool find to start us off. Let's go ahead and get into this other one, see if we're gonna get anything on the end of that. Okay, much newer there. That's gonna be the most new design. And I've heard that of the little Canadian coin roll hunting that there is, most of it is much newer coins, unfortunately. Here we go, guys. We got a really nice find right there, a bird scent coming off of the end of that roll. Hopefully we get a whole bunch more of those. This is actually the 1867 to 1967 centennial year for the penny. And then we have one more roll here to look at the end. Let's see what we're gonna get. Okay, so a pretty nice looking 1976, guys. I'm super excited to get into these rolls, so without any further ado, let's just go ahead and do it. So here we have our first Canadian penny roll right here, 50 cents in 1 cent Canadian coins. Let's go ahead and just take it all out and see what we're gonna get right off the bat here. So just go ahead and dump it out real quick. So guys, right off the bat, there are a couple of things that are catching my attention. I'm basically seeing anything darker is typically gonna be older when it comes to copper coins like this. And over here, I'm seeing a much darker edge than I'm seeing anywhere else. I think this is gonna be a King George. And actually, what in the world? I don't even think this is a Canadian coin, guys. I'm pretty sure that's not Canadian. Nope, it's not. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that looked really similar, but it's not. It's Newfoundland. 1 cent, 1942. So even to Canadians, this would be a foreign coin. I thought these were all foreign coins, but this is even more foreign than that. 1942 Newfoundland. That is cool. I've never found anything like that. It looks really similar to a Canadian penny, but it is not. So awesome. I didn't even know the coins like that existed, so that's really cool to see. All right, so let's get into the rest of this now. I see another one right here that I think is going to be older. This one is actually going to be Canadian, and it is going to be older. This is what we refer to as a young head. And the reason for that is because this is the youngest portrait of Queen Elizabeth that you will find on these coins. And this one, these go from 1953 up through 1964. So let's go ahead and flip this over and see what we have for a year on that one. All right, so 1958, that is a good sign, guys. It's nice to see those in the 50s. You typically get them in the 60s if you get them at all, and those are a lot more common than these 1950s here. So very cool find right there, 1958. I'll definitely be pulling that one to the side. So this coin here is actually composed of almost entirely steel. That was what they were using right before they abolished this coin. And even that wasn't cost effective, and they really couldn't find any other metal that could make it cost effective, which is why they actually got rid of it. And that's, of course, another reason why the United States is actually arguing that we should get rid of the penny as well, because it does cost more to make it than it actually is worth. But I keep getting sidetracked, guys. Let's go ahead and get through the rest of these coins and see if we're going to get anything interesting. So I just showed you the newest version of that coin. This is a little bit older. These were in the 90s and I believe maybe late 80s. I don't remember the name of it, but here we have a 1999, and let's see if we can get another one that's going to be even a little bit different than that. All right, here we go. So this is yet another design, and these ones were sort of in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So as you can see, guys, there's all kinds of different designs on Canadian money, and we have a good assortment of it here. I'm actually going to go through these and try to get as many as I can into the collection books, just to see how far we can get into a Canadian collection with just a few rolls of Canadian pennies. Here we go, guys. Look at that. That is a nice old coin right there, 1956. That is the oldest actual Canadian coin that we found so far. We actually were able to get that 1942 Newfoundland coin, which is really cool. But this is the oldest Canadian one so far, 1956. That's an awesome find. Definitely going to be pulling that one to the side. All right, guys, so I just did a little bit of research, and I have to say I'm actually a little bit embarrassed that I didn't know at least of the existence of this coin right here. So it turns out that this actually was legal tender in a place called Newfoundland, which was a British colony up until 1949 when it became a province of Canada. That is so cool, guys. And what makes this even better is that these coins in this denomination, in this size, you can see the small cents only went from 1938 up through 1947, and look at the mintage figures on those, guys. Those are super, super low, and we can see our 1942 right here, about 1.9 million of those were minted. In comparison, guys, take a look at the modern mintages of all of these Canadian pennies in the book here. This one's at 1.2 billion with a B, and that was only 1.9 million on that Newfoundland coin. So that is just such a cool find. I had no idea this was even a possibility to find in Canada, but that gets me even more excited for what could be in the rolls to come. So I'll definitely have an eye out for those. Now, just real quickly here, guys, I forgot to mention I am actually trying to fill up these Canadian coin books. These go from 1920 up through 2012, basically the end of the pennies. And actually, the small cents in Canada only started in 1920, so this pretty much covers everything that you could find, other than those Newfoundland coins, of course. And I'm getting a little overwhelmed, to be honest with you guys, because I had no idea that some of these coins actually had some sort of marking system. They're not actually mint marks because they don't distinguish what city that the coins were minted in. But there is, on some of these coins, you can see this P mark, and I think I have an example of one of those. I think it's this one right here. Yep, so this is actually a 2003 P, and you can see the P is right there underneath the bust of Queen Elizabeth. It's a tiny little P, and it doesn't stand for Philadelphia or anything like that. It actually stands for plated. So these coins here, I believe, are plated steel. I just did a lot of research, so hopefully I'm getting this right. They're plated steel rather than zinc, so that's what we have here. And it's very confusing, guys. I'm going to have to get into this a lot more. There's so much to learn about Canadian coins, but definitely cool to see that. I don't think I've ever actually looked close enough to notice that there is actually a little P mint mark there. So pretty cool, guys. I'm going to go ahead and stick that one in the collection here, right where it goes, 2003 P. And I have a whole bunch of other coins to put in here. Looks like we're getting some decent progress on this collection right here, and then this one as well. We got some of our older coins in right there. And I don't know what I'm going to do with that Newfoundland coin, but it's definitely cool. So, all right, guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the second roll. So for the second roll, I figured we'd jump into this weird plastic roll, which has these little Lego stubs on the top of it. I'm seeing this coin right here on closer inspection. This one looks a lot bigger than the other ones in the roll. You can see it's just a little bit wider. So I'm interested to see if that one's going to be different or maybe even foreign. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into this one. This is the only one that I know is definitely untouched by anybody else, because there's no way that somebody's going to be able to wrap it like that. So I believe that we're going to find some pretty cool stuff in here, hopefully. So it does open pretty nicely. It's I guess actually you could probably wrap that one back up and put it like that. So maybe we don't know that this hasn't been touched. Anyways, guys, let's just go ahead and take a look at this. I'm going to grab this one first of all because it's a little bit wider, and I'm just interested to see what it is. So let's go ahead and pull this one out right here. All right, so yeah, looking at that, that is not a Canadian coin. I can say that for sure. This is actually, I believe this is a British penny, and you could see that it did have a little bit different circumference from these other coins here, and so it's, I don't know, that's kind of cool. I'm not super into it though. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of these coins and see what else we're able to get out of this. So once again, let's spread these out, see if we can see anything a little darker. Oh, look at that, guys. That right there, I know is going to be an old Canadian coin. And actually, I've found one of these in my rolls before, but I've never found one since. It was in my first box of pennies. It was an American box. Look at this, guys. That is actually the first year Canadian 1 cent coin right there, 1920. I was just telling you guys, the small cents started in 1920. Before that, they were much larger. And if you look at the backside right here, we have King George V right there. That is a sight that you do not see very often, especially in the American coins. Very, very cool design, and just super pumped to get that one right there. 1920. It's going to be the first spot in our collection, and I believe the rarest Canadian coin that we found so far. So that is just awesome to get that first spot put into the collection right there. I'll push it in a little bit later. It's a little bit tricky on some of those. All right, let's see what else we got, guys. So I see something that looks a little bit older right here. Look at that, guys. 1921. If this is what coin roll hunting in Canada is like, I am super down, because you don't find stuff like this, especially in the American rolls. And that is just one of my favorite coins. Look at the design on it. Super rustic, super old looking. And then, of course, flip over to the obverse here. And it looks like it's a little bit bent up on the top there, unfortunately. But that is just another really nice coin going right next to that 1920 that we just pulled. All right, so there's our 1921. And now let's see what else we have here. I think this one was looking a little bit older as well. Let's see what we have there. All right, so that one's just going to be a 1968. Now let's just go ahead and glance over the rest of these. I didn't see anything else that looked extremely old. Oh, there's an American penny right there. 1997 Denver. I wonder how Canadians feel about getting American coins in their change, especially the pennies, because I know that there isn't a huge difference between an American and a Canadian penny as far as value goes. Now when you get into those other denominations, I'm sure that they would prefer the American coins, but that's it's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of these guys. It looks like that is going to be it for interesting finds. I'll take what I can from here, fill them into the collection, and we'll see how far we can get, and then we'll get into the third roll. All right, so just filled in a bunch more coins. You can take a look here. There's a few that are still out of their holes, and I'll show you why in just a second. First of all, let's start up here with this 2002. So as you can see, guys, the P and no P thing, it looks like it started in 2002. And I think that we actually were able to get the P on this one, which is really cool. It's the first time that they did that. And you can see the P down there below the double date. And the reason for the double date is it's another one of their centennial years. I think it says, what is the year on that? 52 to 2002. So it's the 50-year anniversary of something. I believe that's when the Queen actually took the throne. So don't quote me on that though, guys. I'm still learning my Canadian history here. But anyways, we were able to get the P on that one, so that's pretty cool. It's going to be going in there. And I wanted to show you guys this real quick because it gets weirder here. As you can see, this collection, it looks like this collection was actually made in 2005 or 2006 because they don't have the mintage figures for the 2006. And on top of that, guys, it turns out there's actually 4 2006s. So this isn't actually a very good collection to use if you're looking to collect Canadian coins. As you can see here, we have a 2006. And on the below Queen Elizabeth there, we see nothing. So this is going to be the plain, right? So you'd think that that would go right here. But we also have a 2006 right here. Flip it over to the back side, actually the front side, and you can see an emblem. So that's not a P, it's not a nothing, it's an emblem. So on top of the whole P, no P emblem, all of that stuff, we also have this thing called Blunt 5, which I'm familiar with this. I've seen fives, blunt fives, and what do they call it? Pointed fives. And it's just super difficult to tell the difference. You guys who are Canadian coin buffs, let me know if this is a blunt 5 or a pointed 5. I really can't tell the difference, and I imagine that it's actually pretty difficult to do unless you have a microscope handy. So let me know if you can get it from that angle right there. I actually have no clue. Even the ones that are blunt look pointed to me, so I'm not super good at distinguishing those. But with that being said, guys, let's just go ahead and jump into the third roll and see what else we're going to find. All right, so let's try one more different type of roll, and then it looks like we have just 2 more of these red ones, which were hand wrapped. So let's get into this one. This weird one says Canadian 50 cents, 50 pennies, and it's got that little cardboard washer on the end of it. Let's see what we're going to get out of this roll. If it's anything like the last one, I'm definitely excited to get into it. Alright, so once again, you guys know the drill. Looking for anything old, and it looks like we missed one right there. But look at this, guys. I'm already seeing something that looks foreign to me, and I'm wondering if foreign currency like this comes up this much in Canadian coins. We don't get a whole lot of foreign coins here in the US, but it looks like you guys up there in Canada are getting quite a few of them. So this is a Barbados coin, and I've actually found these before in American rolls, so I'm actually familiar with this design. It's once again a 1 cent Barbados coin. Very cool. Put it up there with the rest of the foreigns. And let's take a look here, guys. I'm already seeing right off the bat a young head. Hopefully you guys can see that. So we see the obverse of it here, which means we don't quite yet know the date. If you guys remember, these were from 1953 up through 1964. So let's hope for one of those early 50s here. 3, 2, 1. All right, so we just got another 1958. That's still really cool though, guys. That's actually a pretty good mintage at just 59 million made. And so we'll definitely be putting that one to the side. It is going to be a duplicate though. All right, so what else we got here? I see something interesting here, maybe. Nope, it's just going to be a newer one that's got a little bit of wear going on. All right, so these are a little bit darker here. I see that's a 74 and 78. Okay, so nothing yet. This one is also a 74, and with that, I think that's about it, guys. This one's pretty messed up, but it looks like it's got a fairly modern design on it. Yep, just 1979 with the obverse kind of scratched up there. So I'll take a look at these guys. I'll let you know if I find that 2006 P or anything else of interest, and I'll get back to you once we've gotten through all of those. So in that roll, we were able to get a few more coins for the collection. This one wasn't for the collection, but it is another of those P coins, which a little bit more difficult to find. This one's once again another 2003. And then I think we were able to get the 77, 71, and then we were able to also get the 2002 no P this time, so we were able to get both of those, which is pretty cool. I might have put it in the wrong way, because as you can see, it doesn't actually have a date on the front side, which has confused a lot of people. I've had a lot of people ask me, Quinn, hey, I got this Canadian coin that doesn't have a date on it. I said, just flip it over, guys. I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. All right, guys, we'll get into the fourth roll now. All right, so here is roll number 4. We got that bird scent on the end of this one, so I already know we got a pretty decent coin right there. Let's go ahead and dump this one out, and I'll show you guys that one first thing, but I also want to see if we have anything else in here. It's going to be nice and old for us. Oh, nice, 2009 on that end as well. I don't think that's as big of a deal up in Canada, but if that was in the United States, it would certainly be. All right, so let's see what we got here, guys. Rock dove on that coin. We call these bird scents down here in America. At least I do anyway. 1867 to 1967. It actually matches the $1 bill that they put in the front of the box there, so that's pretty cool. I like that. Nice little complete collection there. All right, so flip it over to the obverse, and you can see it's just kind of looks like a regular Canadian coin from that time period. But that's going to be going into the collection for sure, because we haven't found that one quite yet. And I think, guys, before I grabbed that, I saw a much older date right here. I see it again, guys, 1942 on that one. This is going to be a King George VI. Now, these coins I find about 1 per box in America. and I've been really enjoying finding them, at least in Michigan, that is. If you go down south, it's a little harder to get these coins. But 1942, nice wartime coin right there with King George VI on that one. And that is going to be going into the collection right here. Looks like we have 76 million minted of the 1942. Here we have another young head. Hopefully this is going to be an older one. But actually we do still need all of the 60s, so I'd be happy with that as well. Let's see what we got here. 3, 2, 1. All right, 1962. I'll definitely take that. It's going to be going into the collection. 227 million of those minted. So let's see if we got anything else old here. I see 1988. That's always a difficult one to find for some reason. It might just be my luck, but we do still need that one, so I'll put that one to the side. And now go through the rest of it. Wow, that looks really nice. I mean, it's pretty new, but it still looks really, really nice. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of proof-like. Put that one to the side. 2011, don't think we have that yet. 2012 would be the last year, so I might be able to find that one, not sure. Alright, so I think that's about it, guys. I'll go through the rest of these and get back to you guys in just a sec. Alright, guys, I just had the weirdest thing happen to me when I was looking through that roll. As you can see right here, we have two 2003 Canadian coins. One of them is exactly what I was expecting, at least. It's the reverse of the most modern Queen Elizabeth there. You can see we have a P, and that's basically what we found the last two 2003 coins. It was a P there. But then I flipped this one over, and I was kind of baffled for a second, because as you can see, we have a different reverse for that coin. And it also has a P on it, and it's a little bit different shaped P. It's a little bit bigger. Now, if we look at the collection here, it looks like the P's actually began in 2002. And I guess that's what they look like. But when I looked at the collection, and I gotta say, guys, I'm getting a little bit disappointed in this collection, because apparently this was actually a transition year. So they had both the diadem reverse, which was the second one you saw, and then the newer, more modern version, which is the older Queen Elizabeth here. So they had both of those in 2003, and then each one of those had a P and a regular no mint mark as well. So that's why this is kind of strange. They only have 3 spots for the 2003 when they really should have 4. They should have the 2003, 2003P, 2003 uncrowned, which apparently is supposed to be this obverse. This would be the uncrowned. And then there should be one for 2003P uncrowned as well, which is actually what this is right here. So this coin basically has no spot to put in the collection. So now moving on to the final circulated unsearched roll. We have it right here. It looks just like the last one that we looked through, but it has a much newer coin on the end this time. So let's go ahead and dump it out and see what we're going to get in this final roll. And then we have a bonus roll that we're going to be looking at the end of the episode as well, which I believe was stacked just for entertainment purposes, but I can't say for sure. We'll just have to find out. Alright, so let's see what we got in this final roll. Are we going to get anything good? Looks like we got a 1972 right there, which we do actually need in the collection, so I'll pull that one aside. Here we go. We got a 2002 right here. You can tell because no date there. Flip it over to the back side and see what we have. I always say the back side. I really just mean the side that doesn't typically have the date, because on the Canadian coins, the obverse doesn't usually have the date, but it does this time. So, alright, so we do already have that one, so we'll just put that one to the side and keep looking here. Let's see if we can get something old, guys. There's another 1977 there. And I'm not seeing anything in this roll, guys, like I have been in the other ones. These look like pretty much just a bunch of modern coins. But I will, of course, look through the rest of these and see if we're going to get anything else that we need in the collection. I think we do need that 73 right there, so there's one coin, 1973. I will take it. But guys, I think that's about it. So I'll go through the rest of these and I'll get back to you if we find anything of interest. Alright guys, so I got the collections all squared away with everything that we found in those 5 rolls. Now we have this bonus roll that we're going to get into now. I'm not actually going to put any of these coins into the collection because they weren't really found fairly. If you ask my opinion, I know that this roll was a little bit stacked, so I'm not going to put these into the collection. But this is a pretty interesting roll. You can see it's I've got a lot going on with it, and like I said, all of these rolls are new to me, but this one in particular, never seen anything like it. It's called a grippy sou. I believe that's French. All right, so enough of my banter. Let's go ahead and how do you even open this thing? I guess just pull it apart? I don't want to hurt the coins here. I'm thinking you just kind of, I guess not. Well, guys, I'm going to have to figure out how to open this thing, and then I'll have to get back to you. All right, so they all kind of spilled out there, but just taking a look at these coins, you can see these are really nice looking coins. Just look at this 1979, and there's plenty more like it as well. Man, I'd love to put these into the collection, but it definitely wouldn't be fair. I like to only put things in that we're able to find. And now keep in mind, guys, this collection is just specifically for this video, so I'm not going to be using this in any other videos, but this is just kind of for fun. Let's take a look at these coins that we were gifted here. So 1979, once again, there's a whole bunch of them here, and even some young heads as well. One thing that I've never actually seen before is a King George VI that still has some luster left on it. That's just, I've never come across anything like that before. Here we have a 1964 in pretty pristine condition there. Just a whole bunch of them, guys. There's some more 1979s. A few more. Here's a 61. This is a young head in pretty decent shape. Now, I would be pretty stoked. I see a whole bunch of young heads over here that we're going to get into in a second. These are just some really nice coins, like I said. Just all different levels of luster left on these coins. So I'm trying not to let them rub against each other because I don't want to degrade the value of them. So very cool, guys. All in all, this was a really fun hunt. I learned a lot. I still have a lot to learn, as many of you know. Definitely expecting a lot of comments, correcting all the different weird stuff that I said and all the stuff that I got wrong. So I welcome that stuff. I want to learn, and hopefully you guys learn something in this one as well. So here's the final result for the collections. It looks like we're actually able to fill up an entire page over here. We have a lot missing here. And then I think that this page is just confused. It doesn't really know what's going on. As you can see, we don't have any mint marks or anything. And then, of course, we have all that weirdness going on with the 2003s. Coming down here, we were able to get that 1920 and 1921. Very clutch to be able to get those ones. I can't believe that that actually popped up, especially in the same roll. And then, of course, we have one King George VI that came out. We had a bunch of young heads here. And then some of these more modern coins over here. Of course, as always, make sure to head on over to quinscoins.com to pick up one of these coin roll hunting placemats to aid you in your penny roll hunting if you desire. You can see we have all the different types of coins that you can find in an American penny roll across the front, including the Canadian pennies, which do pop up from time to time, depending on where you are in the country. And then on the back, we have this point system, which we use to rate boxes, as well as the key date and low mintage ranges, which are super helpful when you're hunting through pennies. Again, guys, that's quinscoins.com to pick these up for yourselves, and I'll put the links down in the description below. That being said, thank you so much to Van Island Coins for supplying the coins for this episode. It was a super fun hunt. I learned a ton, and hopefully people were able to learn some from me. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to go down below and leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, because I post new videos like this every single week, always bringing you along with the hunts and having a good time. And as always, I'm Quinn, and this is Quin's Coins signing out, and I will see you in the next one.